Well, let's go to a man that knows exactly what it's like to manage Spurs. Former Tottenham manager Harry... excuse me.
Wow, you're right.
Harry Redknapp joins us. Excuse me. Hello, Harry Redknapp. How are you?
Andy, I'm okay. You?
Well, apart from nearly swallowing my tongue, I'm okay. Listen, thanks so much for coming on the back of that breaking news. So much to ask you, but firstly, I have to get your view on the fact that Spurs have sacked Cristian Stellini. Is that the right decision, bearing in mind what happened yesterday at St James's?
Well, I wouldn't blame him entirely for what happened yesterday, Andy, but it was a strange decision in the first place, wasn't it? He was very much Conte's man. He came with him. And obviously, had a big say in what was, he's out on the training ground every day and he's part of it. It was a really weird appointment. So, but I mean, I thought his interview yesterday, I thought he came over very well. I've never met the guy, but I listened to him after the game. He seemed very sincere about what he said about, he took the blame because of the system he played. He played four at the back. It did look a bad move to play with a back four yesterday, and looking at the players that played in the back four, a left back who's really a left wing or left wing back at best, a right back who's a right wing back or right winger. It was a strange decision, but so I suppose if they still are the hopes of getting in the top four. But what they're going to do, I mean, he was there yesterday with Ryan Mason. Between them, obviously, they've picked the team, and it's not worked out. But where do they go next? What they're going to do, I wouldn't have a clue. Would you?
Harry, first of all, how you doing? You okay?
Hi, Darren. Yeah, fine.
Has it surprised you that they haven't got a plan in place? Because when Conte went, they were been linked to all these different managers and no one's come in the door. Has it surprised you that they've gone this way and that they've got no real idea of what to do next?
Yeah, I thought Pochettino would go in there. I thought, well, he's out of work now, and he looked quite an obvious choice, really. But it seems they didn't really, I thought he'd be the one, but it seems that's not going to happen, because if it was, they'd have took him straight away. There's still a great chance to make the top four. He's out of work, lives around the corner, perfect. So it seems to me that he's not there, certainly not one of their main choices. The German boy from Bayern Munich, it looks like, Chelsea are interested. Is he going to get, they may not get him. I don't know. Brendan Rodgers is out of work. He could be a possibility. They could go and get Brendan now if they want to take, try to get him in and try to make the top four still. So there's options out there. There's one or two of them out there who are not working at the moment who they could take, but yeah, you'd have thought they've had the plan would have been in place. It was certainly a rash decision. When Pochettino went, Mourinho was in there at 9 o'clock next morning. So normally they have got something in mind, but it looks like this time they've gone and sacked Conte because of what went on and left themselves really, in limbo.
Harry, let me ask you, your name has been thrown into the mix a few times to look after Spurs to the end of the season. Have you heard from them?
No, not at all. No, I don't see it. Andy, I don't see that happening. It's really, I'm busy on Saturdays anyway. I've got a paper round, mate. It's hard. I can't pack it. It's hard to let people down. They look forward to their papers on Saturdays.
Yeah. I can imagine you getting off your bike.
No, I mean they've got to go and they've got to do something. They've still got half a chance.
Yeah, of course.
Of making the top four. They've got to have a go, surely. Good game. Have they got Man United this week?
Yeah, Thursday, live on talkSPORT as well, Harry.
Where's that? At Tottenham?
Yes.
I fancy Tottenham could beat them. I think it's a great job for someone to take for Thursday night. Man United, on the back of that hard game yesterday at Wembley, got injuries and one or two people suspensions or whatever. One or two are going to be struggling a bit after yesterday. Great time to play Man United at home. They can redeem themselves, a bit like Man United have done this week when they've come back and won at Wembley yesterday, only on penalties, but on the back of getting beat in Seville. It's a no-brainer for somebody on Thursday night to take that team. They can't go any lower than they did on Sunday.
Yeah, true.
Yeah.
So take it. We can win the fact. Let's go out there and have a right go. And we've all been in them positions before, and quite often you can turn it round. So it's going to be interesting to see what they do.
Harry, by suggesting you think Spurs can beat Man United, you've just failed the interview process. But Harry, let me ask you this. This is what I don't understand, right, with Spurs and with Daniel Levy, is the fact that we're talking about a club that have an outside chance of getting top four. And with that, of course, obviously comes Champions League football. And with that comes copious amounts of money for next season and a better opportunity to attract a better player for the club.
Sure.
I can't for the life of me understand why Daniel Levy would put someone in charge of that possibility with virtually no Premier League experience.
No, absolute strangest decision ever, wasn't it? And somebody who is really has made his living, or he's on the, he's Conte's man. He follows him around, or he comes here with him. He's getting, and looking at it, he's looking at the situation. Okay, at the end of the year, have I got a chance of being Tottenham manager? Not really. Conte gets another job, which he will. Obviously, he's going to get another top job somewhere. I'll go and work again with him. So, I mean, it was a ridiculous decision to put him in charge at Tottenham, really. But they left him, and Ryan Mason was there before, working on the coaching staff as well. So they've left the same people in charge that work with Conte. And now, what they're going to do now, they'll probably go down the ladder. They'll probably go to Ryan Mason, or they'll go, Yaya Touré's there. Someone mentioned today. I mean, I don't think they really know where they're going at the moment.
The superstar that is Teddy Sheringham joins us live on Drive. Teddy, good afternoon to you.
Good afternoon.
Thanks so much for coming on, Ted. Firstly, are you shocked that Spurs have pulled the trigger?
I was shocked that they put him in charge in the first place when they sacked Conte. So, doesn't surprise me. I mean, that's the way of the world right this minute, isn't it? You have one disastrous result at the weekend. He's obviously still in the same ilk as Conte, and I don't know. He's got to go. What is happening at Tottenham? I really don't know.
Ted, does it surprise you that they sacked Conte and it almost seemed like they had no plan in place for who replaced him?
Absolutely disastrous decision to sack someone like that and not have someone in place. I mean, it just seemed like they was going to give the job to Pochettino. Look, he's been waiting in the wings for a good few months now, and you thought, there we go. Let's get. I don't think it would please every Tottenham fan if they put Pochettino back in charge straight away. But I think you definitely get a 60 or 70%, and that could only been good at the time. But they're obviously not going down that route now. Otherwise, they would have got him by now, wouldn't they?
Ted, listen, I don't know Ryan Mason that well. I've worked with him a few times. He's a lovely bloke, but I sort of feel, no disrespect to him, I sort of feel that Spurs are replacing like for like. They've got a chance of getting top four football, Champions League football. They need a big name in charge to really push them on for the last 6 games of the season. Do you think that Ryan Mason is the right man for what could be, for Spurs to get Champions League football, then be able to attract much bigger names and have a much bigger income over the next 12 to 18 months? It's a huge decision. Is Ryan Mason the right man to get Champions League football for Spurs?
Who knows, mate? I mean, I don't know enough about Ryan Mason to put him down right this minute. All I know is it's a fantastic football club that's rocking at the moment. I don't think they know where to turn. I think there's people out there that could have come in and did a good job. I said to you before, you could do a lot worse than putting Tim Sherwood in there and rattling a few cages, livening a few people up. Bring Harry back, Harry Redknapp, put Harry back in there. He'd soon put a smile on the punters' faces, get them playing the way that they like seeing Tottenham play. I'm just bemused by what's going on over the last few months at Tottenham Hotspur. It's just the leadership is just, I don't know, it's just nowhere to be seen at the moment.
Is this the worst it's been for a long time, as far back as you can remember, what's going on at Spurs?
I wouldn't say it's the worst it's been, because they're sitting in fifth place, and I'm sure there's a lot of football clubs that would be saying, well, we'll take that, on the verge of getting in the top 4. But it's just the manner in the way Tottenham have been managed over the last couple of years, and especially recently, and just about what's the direction of the club. You think you would have someone to sack a manager, a very good manager, perhaps not everything going his way, but to sack someone like that, you would think that they would have someone in place, and to give them 3 months at the end of the season to have a look at what he's got, to have a good summer and get a few players in that he wants. Now the new manager's obviously going to have to start from scratch, and he'll have 4 weeks in the summer to have a look at his players, get new players in, see if they gel. It's all, it was a perfect opportunity to get their man 3 or 4 months before the end of the season for me.
Teddy, when you look at their performance yesterday, who do you think was to blame for that?
I think everyone's to blame. I don't think you can just say the manager, but you respond to your manager. So, the buck stops with the manager. But it looks like there's no leadership all the way across the board, from right at the top to down the bottom now. That everyone seems to be doing their own thing. To sack Conte and put his assistant manager in charge, for me, it was just like ludicrous.
Ted, listen, you've got, of course, one of the best number 9s in world football in Harry Kane at the club. This summer he'll have just 12 months left of his contract. Is it a worry from Tottenham's perspective that there's so much unrest at the club and the future of the club is not really known? Is that a worry as to how he'll make his decision as to where he'll be next season or the season after?
Of course it is. I don't know. There was talk about Levy saying that Harry Kane's not going to be leaving this summer. Who knows what's going to go on? Only Harry can, look at this situation. He's a top player. He's if not the best centre forward in the world at the moment. He's up there in the top 3. So he'll be looking at that situation and not liking what's going on at the club. He'll be very interested to know who's going to be coming in as well to manage him if he stays. So it's a big moment for Tottenham again, as it has been for the last few months.
Ted, listen, thanks for coming on. Your old sides, both of them meet. It's live on talkSPORT exclusive as well on Thursday night. Man United Spurs or Spurs Man United. Who do you want to win?
I'm going to the game. I'm in a Tottenham box, so I will be rooting for both my old teams.
Right, so you want to draw? How does that work? Who do you want to win? Who do you want to win, Ted?
I want to see some smiles on the Tottenham faces. It looks like Man United are already in the Champions League spot, so they're quite happy. As long as they beat City in the FA Cup final and stop them doing the treble. That's what you talked about last time I was on your show, wasn't it?
Yeah.
And obviously, Benty will be well pleased that Man City are charging Arsenal down, and hopefully Man City win the league there.
Yeah, but you still haven't answered the question. Who do you want to win, Ted?
Sorry, darling. Is that
I love it when you call me darling. Ted, thanks for coming on. Always a pleasure.
Cheers,
I
Ted.
appreciate it.
Cheers, lads. See you, Benny.
There you go.
Right.
Wonderful Teddy Sheringham. I think football will be the winner. I think that's probably his answer. Breaking news again this evening. Spurs have sacked Cristian Stellini. That happened, 25 minutes ago. talkSPORT understands. How about this for a bit of breaking news? talkSPORT understands Spurs are now ready to revisit their interest in Julian Nagelsmann. You've got to do something quickly, Spurs.
talkSPORT Drive with Andy Goldstein. Monday to Friday afternoon from 4 on AM, on DAB, via the talkSPORT app and on your smart speaker. talkSPORT.